Welcome to Club 120, the ultimate roundtable for diehard Cubs fans and lovers of all things sports and lifestyle.
Strike three, you're out.
Hosted by Neil and Nate, two former baseball players and coaches turned loud mouths with strong opinions and even stronger banner. Get ready for quick-hitting, time-answer segments packed with wit, laughs, and the occasional heated debate. From analyzing Cubs on-field action to diving into off-field drama, no topic is off limits. So grab your glove, pour a drink, and pull up a seat at Club 120, where the banner's quick, the takes are hot, and the Cubs always come first. Let's get started.
Play ball!
Hello, Cubs friends. It's 120. You know what that means. Grab an old style and a bleacher seat. Let's talk Cubs. I'm Nate, and with me as always is a man who also spends plenty of time in front of a mirror looking for what feels strong. Neil, what's on today's lineup card?
Oh, man, what a show. What a show. And I got to be honest with you, I don't know what's up with the spring training broadcast schedule and what's going on as far as that's concerned, but I got to be honest, I am glad I did not get to see today's game. Obviously, as most of you know, we record these on Wednesday, so we just took a 14-7 pounding from the Rockies today. So we're going to ask some dangerous questions today, like, does spring really count? That will be topic one. Then we'll roll into spring sparks, who looks good, if anybody. And then we'll move on to shagging flies, Conforto signing, and what the ideal fourth outfielder looks like for this team. And after that, we'll set the table. If Michael Busch gets full-time at bats, is he your everyday leadoff guy? And finally, our topic of the week is superstar Pete. So let's hear it, man. Spring training, does it count or does it mean nothing at all?
It's got to count, right? I mean, that's why we get bat flips and, guys throwing inside. I mean, it counts. Here's all jokes aside, I think it really is a talent show. For how deep your organization can be, because after your guys get their 30 at-bats pre-planned, it's really about your organizational development and depth. But should the records count? Like, is that what you're asking? Like, does wins and losses count? Like, do you feel like that's what it means?
Well, I mean, does any of it count, really? Like, that's, the Rockies, for example, today, I mean, you look, I was all pumped, ready for today's show. Like, I spent a lot of time today just going over stuff for the show today, and then the game happened, and I'm at a loss. I'm hoping it doesn't count. I do have some weird factoids.
Okay.
11-16 in 2016, or 11-17, I believe, was the Cubs spring training record in 2016 when they won the World Series. So record, I don't take too much stock in record. I don't think it counts. But at the same time, J-Mo giving up a first pitch bomb, J-Mo giving up a bomb in his first outing. I think that stuff counts. Like, I think he's out there trying to get outs. Like, so if you're asking does the record count, I don't think so. Does execution count? I absolutely believe so.
Well, I mean, it's an individual sport, right? I mean, no one's throwing the ball for you. It's your at bat. So yeah, I mean, everything should count. I mean, we keep stats on everything. We've got stats for the stats now, to explain how to better explain the stats and use this one, win that. So I think when it comes to what we're looking for as fans and what we're looking for as an organization, it's, as you said, it's that development. But here's the thing, Neil, are you ever going to get over that every day that the Cubs lose, a pitcher blew the game?
What do you go define that question?
Well, I mean, every time we watch a game, there's a reason that you win or lose. Somebody gets a hit and a pitcher gives up that hit. Are you ever going to fully trust pitchers and not get over a 5-run blow-up?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's always on the pitcher. Like if that's what you're asking, like, I mean, if we get beat 2-0, that's not on pitching. Like,
True.
so I don't think it's always on pitching. I think there's, there's guys on the staff who, we had this topic last year where we talked about guys with the highest ERAs on staff for some reason get the most run support from the Cubs, and then the Cubs offense gives 0 run support to a guy who's got a sub-2 ERA.
Yeah.
So, I think you can trust pitchers, but here's my question to you: is what's one spring metric that you do actually trust?
Ooh. For pitchers, right now we're looking at first pitch strikes and walk, like the strikeout to walk ratio. Like it's whenever they say, hey, we're interested in this pitcher or we're interested in this guy, immediately I go to certain areas. One is velocity, because I know that they're looking for certain things out of certain guys. And then, does he fill up the zone? And then what's his walk strikeout rate? I mean, is he walking the earth while he's striking it out, or is it healthy? And that's for me right now is what all these pitchers are fighting for right now. Are we hunting the zone? Are we competitive with every pitch? There's some times where they're going to throw pitches in counts that they just don't want to throw it, but it's just part of the plan. You remember those inner squads where it's just pre-planned. Here's your 30 pitches, just go throw them. What happens, happens. And that happens a lot where they sequence batters out. We're like, here's the first 5 pitches to a certain batter, and if it looks good, we'll just roll it over to the next guy. And they just keep running that through. And you're like, well, how did the third guy just absolutely mash the first pitch? Well, we've been hanging that little two-seamer 3 batters in a row. You think he doesn't figure it out that we're just running a pattern so far? That happens in spring. Like, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I like that. For hitters, Neil, I'm looking for hard contact. Like I'm just checking off boxes for Cubs players checking into spring training. It's just who's going to bang the hardest, today. And that's what we're looking for. Who checked in today? I would say Ian Happ checked in today. That was a good 2-hit day for him. Briggs had a knock today. That was good to see. So that's really what I'm looking for when the starters are in the game. They know they're only getting 1 or 2 at-bats. And that's there. When it comes to culture, do you feel like that fly the W culture is something that can be built at all levels of an organization because of the intermingling of a spring training like this?
Well, funny story about that is we have 8 of our guys departing spring training to go play for other baseball teams. So, the intermingling and the camaraderie and all that. That's why there's that's a point that I'd like to make about, does spring training really matter? Obviously not. We are letting our guys just go gallivant around the country showcasing the World Baseball Classic. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
I mean, if this is really a time to galvanize, build your roster, and build camaraderie, well, we've got eight key, really, really key guys not involved in that. So, that's one thing to me that leads to me questioning, does it really matter? Because, I won't tease anymore, but I have a rant coming about World Baseball Classic in the
Sure.
coming days that you'll see. But, I don't think it's going to be any surprise where I stand on the matter.
I think there's some leverage in there that we can obviously break down as we get towards it next week. I think middle of next week we have the Italy game to break down, so that'll be really fun to get in some real action. I wish we had more to see, because right now we're just looking at back to your opening comment, we're just looking at the MLB app to pull off a few things and what we see from Twitter from those who are there in coverage and whatnot. So those who are posting, thank you, because right now you are some of our eyes and ears on a lot of this stuff. But what do you think about, and you see this every day while we're just before we finish this topic, you say, hey, we're sending guys to gallivant off, but what do you think about guys like Dansby, Nico, Briggs just grabbing their bag in the 3rd inning and just heading on out to the house?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's always been part of the game. I think that's normal, and I don't mind that because I don't think I've been to enough spring training to know that they're not going home. They're not walking back to the Under Armour facility or whatever and It used to be the Under Armour Performance Center. Now
Yeah.
I think it's the Nike, whatever. I know they're not walking back in there, getting dressed and getting in their car and leaving. Like, I know they're getting reps. I've seen those guys go get reps on a backfield while the game's going on, when they let off the game and played the first 3 innings, and then they went out and took BP on a backfield. So I don't put too much in that. I think that it's good for them to go see 2 or 3 at bats. Probably 2 at most that they're going to get in a spring training game, and then head off and work on stuff they need to work on. So I don't really. But speaking of spring training and these meaningful reps, I feel like somebody might be playing their way into a job here. If
I
spring training
told you.
does in fact matter, who's locked in early? The first real roster battle. What's the first job that actually is up for grabs? And do you think? Obviously, I'm just going to go ahead and say his name. Is Jefferson Rojas playing his way into the conversation?
No. But I told you, I'll stay here and I'll say that I stood there, and there's a lot of folks. I mean, you're not one of the highest ranked guys and all that, but I said last year we are going to love watching Jefferson Rojas wear Dansby out at shortstop next spring training. That's it, and that was the point. And he's here and he's doing it. And it started with the first day of spring training. Neil, he set the tone. He was the first kid in the door, and Greg Hughes said that is just so on brand for him, like on par for how he goes about his business. So from an insider like Greg, and then him to go out there and execute like that. I mean, that dinger flashing a little power. Yes, absolutely. Now he's a little sketchy in the field right now. He's made a couple of wild squirrely throws at the turn there at second base, but that'll smooth out. That's just first few games getting back, sitting in that chair again with live game action and a runner going. So, but man, he's fun to watch, isn't he?
Yeah. Yes.
What's going to be more fun is like in a week and a half, he's going to just go down to. They're just going to announce that he got sent out.
Oh, I don't think it'll be that soon. It'll be well after the World Baseball Classic.
Okay. I mean, look, as long as he sticks around, and obviously with somebody like Dansby there, he's Dansby's got a full plan, right? This isn't Dansby needs to show us a few things. We're going to see his development. Now, Dansby has like 3 days a week. He's going to play a game. He's going to do his thing for 3 innings and then move to the backfield and shag 1,500 ground balls. So, yeah, there's plenty of opportunities for J-Row to do some things. I'm looking forward to that. 1 point from last year, Neil, to make for hitting sparks here. Our catcher's still bang, and we're Mo Baller's not even here yet. So, it's good to see where those two guys picking up.
He's arrived.
He has arrived. You're right. He hasn't played yet, but he's in camp.
Yes.
Thoughts on Matt Shaw, real quick. Just seeing a little bit of flashes of all the things they're making him do. Thoughts on Matt Shaw?
I obviously didn't get to watch the game today, but I did see across this, as you're refreshing 1,000 times to see I did see there was an E9 out there. I have no idea what that looked like, or if was it just a drop fly ball or throwing error. I have no idea. So I don't know. I do know what I have seen of Matt Shaw. I like even more abbreviated step at the plate, the big kick. I like the offensive approach even more than I did towards the end of last year. I honestly do not know as far as the field and where they're putting him and what's going on out there. I wish I could have seen him track a fly ball today, or whatever the error was. I wish I could have seen it because I don't really know, so I can't really make an educated comment on that. But my question to you is, what do you think in your mind? Way too early. We are obviously admitting that this is way too early, what is your first roster decision that Craig will actually have to make?
Well, they almost had one today, right? With announcing Tyler Austin is missing months. I mean, it almost seems like they kind of flushed that couple million down the drain there with his knee injury and where he's going to fit in the grand scheme of things after missing all of spring to prove a spot. Other than that, Neil, my note here is.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
You're not You're not saying Cubs medical may have
Breaking.
missed something, are you?
Breaking news. Otherwise, he showed up, and this happens every year where guys show up and they look almost healthy, and then they're like, oh, kind of tweaks a little bit. Kind of, we've all done that with, how long has this been hurting? A day or two, and I think that might be lingering. I don't know. The real issue here, to answer to your question, is on this one, Neil. I think that it comes down to the first vet that isn't getting the job done from the bullpen.
Okay.
The first castaway. I think that's where it's going to be. The kids are going to get their leashes and they're going to get sent down. I think the kids that are here, but I think there's going to be one of that group of guys that's Webb, Rollison, anybody that has MLB experience is going to be like, man, I'm not getting enough here. I got to go. And they're going to go try to latch on somewhere else. And I think that'll be a cut that they think, man, if we just got one more thing with him, we would have more time. They don't have it as much as they think.
All right. So another one, in your mind, is there any scenario in which someone outperforms, let's just say in your mind, is there any scenario in which the best performer wins the job, not just the proven name? Like, I mean, you've obviously already hinted that no matter, Miguel or Jefferson Rojas finishes the spring 18 for 18 with 6 home runs and no errors, 32 putouts.
Yep.
There is zero chance that he gets that spot over Dansby. So is there any scenario in which a young spring performer knocks a name off the roster?
The only chance that we would have, because they've already said Mo Baller's going to get his at-bats, right, would be Jefferson Rojas moving like a Matt Shaw. But they're not going to make Jefferson a utility guy when he can go to, be the AAA player of the year and keep his service time where it's supposed to be and all that. So, he's log jammed, but not really for long. It's just a matter of, remember, he's young. But that's a wild performance to see Jefferson Rojas hit 6 or 7 dingers this spring and make this farm system still look strong even after trading Owen Casey.
Okay. So, all right.
The other one we'll get to later, I'm sorry, is Kevin Alcantara. But they keep signing outfielders, so I'm really concerned whether he's getting a fair shake. But we'll touch on that here in a bit.
Or maybe he is getting a fair shake and just not putting up the numbers that he should be.
That's true.
Okay. While we're talking about depth, let's talk about Shagging Flys. The Conforto signing. What is the ideal fourth outfielder profile for the Chicago Cubs in 2026?
It's a good question. And we just touched on it. I forgot what order we were in. So, my question to you is Kevin Alcantara even involved in this competition or this discussion anymore?
I don't think so.
Okay. So with that being said, then we're just down to the contenders of guys that have played in the major leagues. So now it's just a dealer's choice. What do you like? Do you like the versatility, or do you want somebody that's going to come off the bench and just pop one for you?
Yeah, I think Alcantara is too streaky. I don't think. I think until he shows some consistency down in AAA, I think you're looking at what I think he's no more than a AAA guy. I think it was obvious today. I think another one that you and I were texting back and forth as much as we could watch the. It's not Little League. It's not called Game Changer, but Game Cast or whatever it is.
Shout out to Game Changer moms everywhere.
Yeah, no kidding. Whatever it is that we were refreshing and watching. I sent you a text and said I think Luke Little must have signed a 2-year lease last year in Iowa because he has shown zero desire to play for the big club. So at this point, he better hope to just stay in Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
He might be pitching himself out of a AAA spot. You know what I mean?
I mean, he's not competing in the zone. I mean, if we're just talking about catching strays here from a guy who caught one today, he did not compete in the zone. That's the second outing this spring for Luke Little not competing in the zone, and it's very simple for him and for Porter Hodge. If we're just going to stop down here for a minute, the moment those two guys want to compete in the zone with everything that they throw and just throw it through the Fox box and just trust it, then they will stick around. Until then, they're just going to infuriate everybody because they're just so talented. It's just, I don't know, what do you call them?
Mental marshmallows.
Oh, there we go. There it is. I was waiting for that. There it is. That's exactly right. So, sure. Now back to the fourth. Go ahead.
Your question was similar to my, like the question I wrote down for you is almost exactly the one you posed to me. So should your fourth outfielder be a safety net or should it be a spark plug? And that's kind of what you're saying. Like, should it be somebody that you're subbing in there for some power, some pop? Or should it just be, this is a reliable glove that's going to go out and hit 225 and just be solid at any of the three outfield spots when one of the guys needs a day off?
Right. Would you say this team is balanced?
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be a good word for what our fourth outfielder should look like. Like, I think he should be plug and play. I think this infield is plug and play. Nico can play short. Greg is a shortstop. You got three shortstops there. I think there's just a plug and play atmosphere to a lot of it, and a fourth outfielder that's got a little pop, but can play all three positions. Gives the entire lineup and all the guys an opportunity to have that day where we don't feel like, outside of maybe PCA, that's a tough one. If PCA sits, everybody does feel that a little bit for whatever reason, and that's a different deal. But anyone having a day off. So of those guys, if you had to say that, which one would fit the balanced bill for you? Do you know enough about these guys yet, or is that what you're hoping to find out here the next 4 weeks?
I have a different note, to be honest with you. One of the things of all the guys available that really struck me about Bregman and then now Conforto, and last year with Justin Turner, is I think Jed has an eye for guys that win. And not just win, but like at the highest level.
Okay.
Like the ultimate goal of those who play this game. Conforto's got a World Series.
True.
Bregman has World Series. Like
at multiple levels, by the way. Right. Conforto, same thing. Oregon State Beaver.
Yeah. So the thing I love about this signing is that it's another. You saw it was tangible. How as frustrated as we would get with the platooning of Michael Busch, like that needs to be made perfectly clear. And I think our audience knows this, but it needs to be made perfectly clear. The bullets that Justin Turner caught from this program were not intended at Justin Turner as much as they were not playing Michael Busch.
100%. You couldn't have said that any better.
And I think the value that Justin Turner added to that dugout was immense. And the amount that PCA leaned on him, the amount that Matt Shaw leaned on him, I think is immeasurable. And I think the same thing will happen with Conforto. Like these guys and Bregman, these guys have been there and done it at the highest level. They have won it. We have nobody left on that roster from that 2016 team.
It's true.
Ian Happ was in AAA.
Right.
Doesn't count. So there's nobody in that roster that really knows how to win except for those guys that we have brought in. And I think that's by design. And, a lot of people, at first were yelling at the Eugenio Suarez, but sorry, like you were with the Reds for a long time and they were bad for a long time. Like you were a bright spot on a bad roster, dude.
I like it. Winners win. Question here then, while we learn about these guys, do you believe that the fourth outfielder opening day will finish the season as the Cubs' fourth outfielder role guy?
Well, I suddenly had a flashback of sitting in Atlanta with all kinds of barbecue smoke rolling through the outfield.
the night the season died.
Yeah, like to me, it's how well can Seiya play the outfield. Like if Seiya can play the outfield or play right field at a high level, then your fourth outfielder, Conforto, will remain your fourth outfielder.
Okay, so do you think it's Conforto, and do you think he's there by the through one of these guys is going to last the entire season, or is this a piece that is interchanged?
No, I think he lasts the season. In fact, isn't it a 2-year deal?
They've got several guys that are on that $2.5-3 million 2-year deal type of thing. So
yeah, I think he's there. I think he's in the conversation. I really do. I think who's not now. It's interesting to me now is what they do with Matt Shaw, because and I think the Conforto signing is twofold. I think again this leads on that Cubs medical and the Brats knew about Tyler Austin.
true.
That's number one, and number two, that they don't like what they've seen so far from Matt Shaw in the outfield.
Okay. And what about McCormick, Carlson, Justin Dean? Are those guys they were placeholders, or are
No,
backup plans to, none of those guys have options. So we're not dealing with anybody that has any flexibility. It's either make or go home.
no, I think this is like you're going to see, I can't think who else it was. We had somebody that we all kind of scratched our head and looked like, what are we releasing this guy for during spring training? And I think that's what you're going to see with the McCormicks and the
Carlson.
and yeah, I think that's what you're going to see. I think these guys are going to get their ABs. It was the big, who was it? The big redhead kid. AAA, you and I sat right by the dugout. His agent sat right next to us.
Now I'm getting lost in all the redheads.
Yeah, big kid, like huge kid, and had such a good offensively played really well, but didn't have any options.
Yeah. They did that to Canario last year. It just was that fourth outfielder math, right? And just kind of fell out. And they just fall out, and especially when they have no options, it sucks because you're like, man, I wish you could just send them down and keep them around for a minute or two just to see what happens. Because that fourth outfielder position is used every single year. It's not a minor role. This will be used for huge chunks of the season at a time.
Okay, well, we have two topics to get to. Let's move on to if the lineup's coming together. Let's set the table here. Do you believe there's two guys? There's three guys, honestly, on this lineup. You could argue a fourth, but let's not go there. So Nico.
Okay.
There's Michael Busch.
Okay.
Ian Happ have all spent.
That's surprised. You surprised me right there.
A decent amount of time in the leadoff spot.
Hold on. Before you go there, I honestly thought you flipped those two. You paused for a second about not go there, and you put Ian Happ in that list, and I'm surprised that you said that, sir.
Oh, when I was going to say not go there, I'm not. There was a big push early in the season last year for PCA to lead off.
Yeah,
exactly. Not here for that.
Okay, so you're just going to squash that right now?
I don't like PCA in the leadoff spot.
Okay.
So I might change my mind on that, but right now, as we sit right now, with his body of work last year, there's too much swing and miss there to be a leadoff, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Busch, on the other hand, is I don't know what his middle name is, but it ought to be Ham, because Michael Busch that's his style. Like he is first pitch swinging. Like I don't know if there's a memo that went out but like he's gonna swing at it. Like don't even throw it to the catcher. Like just throw it to the backstop because he's gonna swing at it.
It's he is. You're right, an ambush hitter. We broke that down a lot last year. It works. It worked yesterday. I mean, that was an absolute rocket. I think he's just wicked smart. I think he just has this like pitch profile memory, this picture perfect memory where he just memorizes what Freddie Peralta's fastball looks like, right? And as soon as he sees that angle, it's like it's gone, and that's it. After that, I can't tell you how great he is as of a hitter, right? Because he ambushes so many hard hit balls that it makes him a great hitter. But yeah, as a leadoff guy, that's also concerning, right, Neil? Are you okay with the same approach as last year and running it back, or would you like to see a set lineup here?
That's a great question. Here's the thing. All of them do different things for me. All of them tickle the twine in a different way, right? Like, here's the thing. Michael Busch is the leadoff that probably 8 games out of the year is going to lead off with a dong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just going to open the game, first pitch, gone. Like, welcome to Wrigley. And it's going to be one of those games where it's bananas from there on out. And,
Right.
and I'm here for that. So that's a plus one in the. I was always a make a list kind of guy, like your pros and your cons. I've always done that since I was a kid. Like, any decision we're going to make, we're going to put the pros on one side and the cons. So that's a pro for Michael Busch. Right. The con for Michael Busch is that he's also, no matter what, going to swing at that first pitch. Like, it's so there's the Nico. Nico is going the pro for Nico is it's going to be a 12 pitch at bat.
Yeah.
Like, and that's
it's going to be done professional, like 2 strikes, runner at third, slap it to second base, pick up a run. Right? You know what I mean? Like,
well, there's not going to be runner if he's leading off the game.
Well, true. Well, you're right. Targeting leadoff. Sorry, but yes, the right play will always be made.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like Nico is going to have you're going to start the game, and in the back of this pitcher's mind, he's already thinking, "Gosh, dang, my pitch count's going to be wild if I can't get this guy out." Like, he's going to take 6, 7, 8 pitches in the first at bat, and your average fan's going to think, "Man, that sucks he didn't get on base." But, man, that was a phenomenal way to lead the game off.
Okay, so you just detailed both ways that the Cubs will lead off a game.
No,
which one's more stressful to the other team? First pitch bomb or 12 pitch at bat?
I'm not done.
Oh, okay.
You got Ian Happ.
Okay.
Lead off from either side of the plate.
Okay.
So you don't start the game with a bad matchup. Let's say, you and I both know that Craig thinks Michael Busch can't hit lefties.
True.
So
yesterday was a lefty, but yeah.
What happens when the, first 8 games?
Yeah.
The starting pitcher's a lefty, and Michael Busch is leading off, and we don't like the matchup, or the matchup isn't there. So,
well, I think that honestly happened for a good stretch last year during the summer. There was at least the first game of every series they started a lefty, and a couple teams moved a guy lefty into the rotation for the Cubs series just because it made Craig change his hand to the point where he had to do something about it later in the season, and Busch started to hit in the 8 hole or whatnot. Okay, so let me ask you this. Let's change that, because I don't think it's going to change. I think there is going to be a revolving door, and you might be right. All 3 guys might get a chance here, just based on matchups, because I don't think the Trapper Keeper is going to change. Like, he changed a little bit with the Danny P, went with some feel and announced him as the closer. I don't think that those matchups are going to start having feelings when it comes to making out the lineup card with Craig. So I have a question. The Cubs finished 3rd last year in steals, 161 steals in 162 games. Will they steal more or less this year?
Man, that's such an interesting question, and I'll tell you why I think that's so interesting. Didn't PCA have like 30 at the All-Star break?
He had 30. He finished with 35, and yes, he was a 30-30 guy by the All-Star break, I believe. 25 and 30.
Yeah, so, I just remember, like, there was a stretch there, like 2 months, where he didn't steal a base.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even that he was thrown out. Like, he just didn't even try. Like,
right.
And I don't know if he didn't trust his reads, if maybe there was some sort of ailment.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do know that when it wasn't a stolen base opportunity, like if he's breaking up a double play or anytime he had to slide, it was like very easily, gingerly getting up and making his way back to the dugout.
Right.
I feel like there was an injury that maybe wasn't performance related, but was like maybe a deep tissue bone bruise or something that hurt when he slid.
Okay.
Because I can't explain any other way why you have 25, 27, whatever steals at the All-Star break, and then you only attempt like 10 more the rest. And I believe 3 of the 10 that he attempted were probably in the playoffs.
Yeah. A lot from Pete's standpoint, will determine if the Cubs do run more this year. Because I don't think Bregman is not going to steal like Tucker did. Tucker was a casual stolen base guy. I can't. I wish we could go an entire damn show without mentioning that dude. I really do. It's just ridiculous. Anyways, I don't think they're going to run more. I think they actually run less, but it's going to be more run centric with certain guys. I think you're going to see Shaw be a big disruptor where it's like if he gets on, he's just going to be some menace in the game because that's his role. Like he just doesn't care. Like, what are you going to do? Sit me tomorrow? You're going to play me in right tomorrow? So I think he's going to try to affect as many games as possible because he wants his name on that lineup card. But the majority of it will be a PCA type of a 50 steal season if that's where it's going to go.
Okay, so my question to you before we move on to our topic of the week, because we are so over, is if you had to build a lineup tomorrow, who's your leadoff?
Who's pitching?
So you're gonna so Mister, I like my lineup set every day. I like to.
No, I'm just betting on Craig.
Okay.
I'm just betting on Craig. If we're going, it's Michael Busch for me. I'm sorry. We're just going to stack this thing up from the beginning.
If Nate is managing the Chicago Cubs,
it's Busch and then Briggs.
Okay, I love it. All right, so which brings us to quite possibly the face of the franchise, Superstar Pete. Big article this week. And I think Chicago Magazine, I don't know. I have to misquote it, but I think that's what it was.
Correct.
I'm just going to start it off point blank with a question to you.
Mm-hmm.
At the ripe old age of 24 or 25, however old he is PCA the face of this franchise?
Neil, I think we're not very far away from him being the unofficial face of baseball. And I think he'll always remain unofficial because he throws helmets and he wears baggy clothes and he has blue hair sometimes. And that doesn't fit the traditional PR mode for Major League Baseball. And so it will always have to be some segmented market for Pete. But I think baseball and youth baseball craves that. So I think that's where we're looking. I mean, do I think he's a 50-50 guy? No. I mean, when it's all put together, absolutely. But you think about when you read that article, there's several key points here. And I think this is a good one when we talk about superstar or superheroes, right? And the assistant hitting coach, Maley, said something about, he's like Hulk. And it's like he's not even okay with being Bruce Banner. He just doesn't know. Sometimes he's green, sometimes he's not. And so there's so much power in him that you're just wondering if he's ever going to put it all together, just like the first half of last year. Would you be comfortable with him being somewhere in the middle of that, though?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last week. Like, I'm comfortable if Pete hits 260 and it is just the same Pete we got last year. Like, just play elite defense. Be your 20 some odd outs above average outfielder. Like, just be a superstar glove and then go hit 260. And you won't hear a peep from me. I don't care how far you don't hit it, or it doesn't matter to me. Like, to me, you and I talked about that last year on this show is how underrated of a stat the outs above average in the outfield is. Like that's as good as the outs saved is as good as an RBI.
Right. What's the do you remember in the Moneyball where when Jonah Hill breaks down the first part of his theory, right? And he says you need X number of runs to win 90 baseball games or whatever they said, 86 baseball games, right? And that's what he said. That's not even factoring what you just talked about, right? They factor in how much offense you need. Now think about how much defense that Jed and his crack team have put together for this organization from top to bottom, position by position. I mean, there's a lot of gold out there, and they're bringing more in like Bregman. So outs above average is real, and it's what's going to make Pete a superstar. 9 Gold Gloves is a Hall of Famer. Like he doesn't even have to do it for a decade. But somebody said something earlier about the Hall of Fame, whatever. He said, I just want to think about it. And were you dominant for a 10-year period? We don't need you to be a guy for 20 years, but like how dominant were you for 10 years?
Right.
And that's the kind of guy that Pete can be. He does, like you said, he doesn't have to hit 300. I mean, what was something from the article, Neil, that you pulled from, or just a thought that when you see Pete, you see more of Pete as they pull this veil back? What do you analyze from him? What do you take away from him?
I honestly, anxiety is a bad word. It makes me it makes me concerned. It makes me concerned for Pete and his mental health. And I'm not trying to, I'm usually being funny and sarcastic. I'm being dead serious. And that's one of the questions I have for you is, does the superstar labeling and all of the attention on such a young guy, does that add to the pressure? And is that what's like we talk about the helmet throws and when the
right
is that this culmination of expectation?
Sure. Well, he mentioned that in the article, right? He's like, man, there was a game in April or May and they're chanting PCA. And he's like, I got to do something. Like, we think they don't hear it. We've played, right? We've done this. We hear it, right? You hear it.
Yeah, no,
as a player, you heard everything, right? I don't know if I didn't hear everything, but like you heard stance, like you heard.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, and
exterior noise.
The type of player you are. Some guys, thrive on road games. Like I'd rather go on a road game where you got 4 dudes down the right field line, talking
right
stuff to you. But man, I worry because we're old guys, man. Like, I mean, we got 20 years on Pete. You know what I mean? Like kids are different now, man. Kids don't. And I don't know Pete at all. But I'm just saying, like, social media has made the world a different place, and kids don't take criticism like they used to. And we say you hear it, like you hear the PCA chants and all that. You do hear it, but what happens when some 45-year-old fat guy with his shirt off eating Cheetos is tweeting about how you let him down, or you cost him something on FanDuel, and like that? To me, that stuff has no place online or in.
No.
But you what I'm getting at is I think that all affects kids, and I think Pete is hyper aware, and I think that is one of the things where I'm not saying Matt Shaw has the world figured out, but I think Matt Shaw has the no social media. I live in Indiana, the Mendoza kid with IU football, no social media. Like there is no noise. Like I think there's value in that. I really do. But I'm also, these are adults and these are grown men, and if they want social media, they should be allowed to have it. Like,
sure. Do you think that being a superstar today requires that?
No, I don't think so. but like I said, I do think there is a lot of added pressure, and I think the added pressure comes from the access, like it used to be. When we were young, you used to go to a game, buy your ticket, get your beer and your hot dog, and that's all the access to them you had.
Right.
And now you open your phone and where he went to dinner with his girlfriend last night. You
know the coffee shop he went to.
Right. Yeah. Like, it all. Like, so I don't know.
So here's one takeaway I really loved is when they kind of brought it at the end, when they tied it in, he said, that's an easy, immovable goal, talking about the playoffs being the expectation, the higher expectations in Chicago, and what playoff baseball did to the city. And he feeds off of that, man. You could tell he just like you did on road games, he loves this stuff. And making this his life, we ask every day for these guys to care. They have 600 ABs a year, and we watch them flip their bats 300 times, and just give it away. We think, personally, we thought he gave that AB away, whatnot. These guys care. And if that's the face of my team, I'm here for that. There's a lot of business going on back there, right? Like, we've got a lot of guys that do baseball the right way. And we don't complain about that. We don't complain about our effort in August. But it's also good to know that we don't have to worry about that, because that kid is going to absolutely not put up with it in his clubhouse.
Yeah. No, and my favorite part of the article was when he was talking crap about Dodgers fans. That was the best part for me.
I hate that he had to come back today and say something. Did you see that? He was back on TV today saying, listen, that wasn't about the Dodgers. Unfortunately, people thought that he was hating on Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, and that he hates Shohei Ohtani. And he had to explain to people that was about the culture and the fans, not about the people who I'm a colleague with in my work. It's like people suck sometimes, and that's what's unfortunate.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. That,
now he has to watch what he has to say now.
Yeah. So, hey, look, we are way over time by literally 20 minutes. So
it's like 2 shows in one. You're welcome.
Yeah, we are super sorry, but super grateful for those of you that tune in, that watch, that listen, that take us in, however it is you take us in. Thank you so much. We couldn't do it without you. And be sure to like, follow, subscribe. Please comment on this video, like this video, wherever you see it, or wherever you get your podcasts. That's all for us. Go Cubs, go.
Go Cubs, go.
This has been Club 120. Neil and Nate have practically spent their entire lives doing something centered around baseball. And with these guys, you're going to get quick-hitting, time-answer segments packed with wit, laughs, and, yes, heated debates. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, you can find us on all social media platforms at Club 120 Show. And, of course, the website at www.club120show.com. Until next time, go Cubs, go!